All right, I am 35 weeks and 2 days. And I woke up this morning just like ready. I feel like I hit this mark in all of my pregnancies. We're 35 weeks. My body feels done. It's ready. It feels overstuffed, like I can't grow anymore. I'm tired. I'm sore. I can't sleep. So, got on the ball. I'm gonna do a little circles, little bouncing. Keep trekking along these next few weeks. And although I'm tired, I'm gonna push through the exhaustion and continue to share this journey because I do feel like it's helpful for those going through a surrogacy journey or even just pregnancy in general. I want to share what has worked for us, what the process of laboring and delivery looks like as a surrogate. And so this video is going to be all about how I am preparing for a natural labor. We delivered naturally with R2. I did do a little fentanyl to take the edge off and a little bit of Pitocin just to keep me going. But spontaneous, I went into labor spontaneously. And I hope that this labor is very similar.
So if you're new here, we have two kids, Canyon and Ember. We had both of our babies at 38 and a half weeks, and for both of them at 37 weeks, we started prepping for labor. Now things will look a little bit different for this journey, just slightly, because we have intended parents who have desires and want to take those into consideration. And not saying that just because we did it in the past and we do the prepping this time that it's going to work the same and that everything's gonna happen the same timeline, but all I know is it's what I've done, it's how my body reacted, and I plan to do most of those things again because I feel like they worked, at least for me. So with our kids at 37 weeks, there were a few things that we did. One of the things that we did at 37 weeks was membrane stripping. If you don't know what that is, basically the doctor inside your cervix will stick 2 fingers and will go around your cervix like this and lift up the membrane or the amniotic sac from the uterine lining, and it will stimulate contraction, or it will stimulate a little bit of progress into labor. Not always. Sometimes people do it, they go into labor immediately. Sometimes people do it and there's no progress at all. We did it at 37 weeks just because with what we researched and with what I heard from people that I knew did it, we felt comfortable with it. So at 37 weeks we did it, and then again we did it at 38 weeks. And I want to say at 37 weeks we were around a 1 dilated each time, and then 38 weeks I want to say maybe like a 2.5 or a 3. Don't hold me to that though. I should probably go look at my birth records, but I think it was something like that. So we did membrane stripping at 37 weeks and 38 weeks. Another thing we started at 37 weeks was evening primrose oil. So evening primrose oil, you can take it orally or you can insert vaginally. So I inserted 1 capsule at night vaginally right before I was laying down to go to bed. And I would put a washcloth in my underwear because it is an oil and at night it leaks out and I didn't want it everywhere. And so I would put a washcloth there just to catch anything. But the primrose oil helps soften and ripen that cervix to prepare you for delivery. And I think I've read, or my doctor even mentioned, that it helps a lot with first time deliveries. To do it. I just wanted to do it for the second one, so I decided to. Our intended parents, I don't think really minded that we did it, so I'm holding off. But evening primrose oil was something that we started at 37 weeks. In addition to that, one thing that we started at 37 weeks, obviously was happening before that, but we started daily intercourse. It is basically a membrane strip every day. Not only does the semen help soften the cervix, but the act of intercourse and the movement of it helps hit that baby's head on the cervix, helps stimulate contractions, progress labor, and the release of oxytocin, which is the natural form of Pitocin. So in the hospital, when you get Pitocin to help stimulate those contractions, help get you going, help make progress, oxytocin is that natural form of it. And so the release of oxytocin helps those uterine muscles contract, which begins the process of labor. Now, you'll find from researching that unless your body is ready for labor, just because you have that release of oxytocin doesn't mean you're gonna immediately go into labor. If your cervix isn't ripened and you're not starting to dilate, you're not just gonna go into spontaneous labor. But through the continued release of the oxytocin, through your cervix being ripened, or you're being thinned out, then your body will be ready. And so for us, we chose to do it daily, and that you can have sex, or you can just orgasm without penetration and still have that release of oxytocin. So we did that daily, had the evening primrose oil daily, and the membrane stripping 37 and 38 weeks. In addition to that, the last thing I did was bounce on a yoga ball. I think I did it every night, or anytime I was uncomfortable, would bounce on the yoga ball, watching TV at night, 15, 20 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes someday. Again, the baby's head bouncing on your cervix, and it just helps relieve some of the discomfort. And so for us, with our kids, those are the 4 things we did. I never really drank the raspberry leaf tea. I think I did twice. I'm not a huge tea person, and so I didn't do it. But those were the things that I did that I wanted to continue to do into our surrogacy delivery or labor process. So for this journey, with us starting at 37 weeks, our intended parents didn't want to do membrane stripping. We were okay with that, so we held off at our last appointment for 37 weeks. We didn't do membrane stripping, not doing the evening primrose oil, but a few things that I am doing this time that are different are adding raspberry leaf tea. So again, not a huge tea fan, but through researching through other surrogates, they're drinking 2 to 3 a day and eating 6 dates. So the dates in this is, it's for all over just women's health and menstrual cramps and stuff, but it helps prepare the uterus. So it's not going to induce labor, but it's help preparing your uterus for delivery. Same with the dates. You can eat them with peanut butter and chocolate chips, or I saw someone put like chive sour cream and pistachios on it just to make them a little more tasty, or put them in a smoothie. You don't have to just eat them raw, but raspberry leaf tea and dates are just one of those things that will help prepare your uterus for labor. And we have started daily intercourse because that's just something that worked for us in the past. And when I get to this 37-week mark, I'm ready, I'm uncomfortable, baby's healthy, we're at that full term mark, and we are starting to prep for labor. Now, I have gotten questions of, why are we trying to get this baby out before 40 weeks? Or why are we so pressured to get this baby out? If you have been pregnant, you know the last few weeks are very uncomfortable, very. Not only that, parents are anxiously excited, waiting for their baby. We have never been induced. I've always gone into spontaneous labor, and I have never made it to 40 weeks. I have delivered at 38 and a half weeks. And so I believe, whether it's genetics or the things that I've done to prepare for labor, that with those preparations, you can go into spontaneous labor without being induced. We don't plan on inducing this time, and so with the tactics that we're doing, I hope it works. I'm very hopeful. But I'm also, as long as baby's healthy and I'm healthy, it's okay. But for me, I know that throughout pregnancy, with this being my 3rd pregnancy, if I stay active, if I eat healthy, then it makes for an easier and smoother, better labor process. Labor is hard work. It is hard on your body. And I don't want to sit back during pregnancy, let alone the last few weeks, and just wait for it to happen and allow it to happen. I want to be ready. I want my body to be ready. I want my body to be prepped. And I feel like doing a few things with staying active and ripening the cervix and being prepared helps that process go smoother and be more enjoyable. And so for me, that's what works. For us, it works. And it's not that we're trying to get this baby out, it's that we are preparing our body. There's a difference between preparation and inducing. And you can prepare your body, but I was gonna say your body's not just gonna go into labor prematurely. At times it does. But in best case scenario, I'm preparing my body, and then when it's time, my body will start inducing and contractions will start and my body will be ready. So evening primrose oil, some raspberry leaf tea. Sometimes I just drink it straight from the mug, a little bit of agave honey in there, or people make it in a big pitcher, stick it in the fridge. You can have it throughout the day or days, I guess, depending on how much you make. Dates, intercourse, bouncing on the ball. Those are just a few things that you can naturally do to prepare for labor. Again, not saying it will work, not saying it won't work, but for us, I'll let you know postpartum if it worked. So I hope that was helpful. If you are new around here, you can follow us on all social media platforms at We Are Dan and Sam, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this video to stay updated on everything we're doing and to see how labor and delivery goes. See you guys.